shift away from the Democratic Party, that Democrats really don't get elected again in any position like the presidency, at least until the mid to late 2030s. And that's notwithstanding us having a world war, which could happen because yeah, okay, we're going to rearm the Europeans, but the biggest problem I see with the Europeans, which you don't have in this hemisphere and not with the Commonwealth countries, is these motherfuckers get pissed off at each other over like simple shit, and then their responses are like nuclear.
Like, yeah, I mean that's one of the things that's highly fucking confusing to me, is like what's going on with like the entire concept of a European Union. Like the people of all these countries really don't fucking care.
You know, they're getting social credit scores and a central bank digital currency this fall.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. Yep, fair enough. So they'll get financially zucked by the quote-unquote union. What an evolution of standovers.
I didn't even make that much to begin with. Like, dude, when I went to Austria, okay, because most people are like, oh, I'm in Vienna. I was like, okay, I was in Vienna, but then, like, you know, I had a couple other trips to make.
So was Hitler.
Yo, dude, I think his house is in some village outside of Vienna. They're talking about demolishing it and shit because, like, people like show up and like take pictures in front of it.
Vienna's a beautiful place.
This just
Vienna's gorgeous.
Still mad at Hitler.
But listen, I went to Graz, and then, you know, like when you visit some of the smaller places, and I mean, yeah, okay, there's a lot of wealth around, but what's interesting is that the average family of four in Austria earns something like their total household is like 3,000 or 3,000 euros a month.
What?
It's not that much money because, you know, granted, housing is generational and sometimes subsidized.
Individuals spend more than that on slot machines, but
that's true. But they're generally not in that part of Austria. That's the part of Austria, you know, where Schwarzenegger.
We're only the part of Austria that George Bush acknowledges.
Could also be that.
Yeah.
Then again, that goes back to World War II. We don't want to talk about that. What was your grandfather doing? Oh, inconvenient truths.
I'm not answering that one on the podcast.
Do the deep dive on the internets if you care. We won't discuss.
You say your grandpa was Argentinian?
Look me in the brow ridge, Lockie. Does this seem funny to you? I'm a reformed Gattaca baby. I have no relation to that man. I've offered you to surrender 3 times now.
The only reason he's reformed is they're like, oh, adamantium is going to kill this one.
I mean, that's if I can't handle 3 times the dosage.
He'd just have like one big spike. It's nothing. It's just like one giant spike would come out of his hand.
No, I wanted
Why
to
do your
come out of
weapons
the
look like you're fighting in the 11th century?
Yeah, they call it the Roman spike for some reason. I don't know.
Dude, but I'm telling you, it's going to be smart for us. I think everything's... But I think the math of the world is going to shift. And at the same time, we're getting all of these digital currencies popping up. So it's interesting where this is going. I don't know. Paper currency is probably another 30 years in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless he does something real stupid next year, which I think he will. And then we'll have paper currency for another 50 years. I think because it is our 250th anniversary, he's going to release the 250 with his face on it. It'll be a $250 bill.
It makes sense. That's the perfect level of that's not a real thing that would be a real thing thanks to Donald Trump.
Because
That
do you understand what's
that is
going to happen?
exactly down the middle of.
People are going to go to like steakhouses or places.
I'd invest in them. I'd pay at least $250 for one.
I believe you would. But could you just imagine that? Like, people are going to have to learn how to get along because, I mean, you just can't run around burning Cybertrucks because you're like, well, I don't like what you're doing. Do you understand? This is as bad as the Black Lives Matter protests, but no one really paid attention because it was a bunch of white liberals coming into black neighborhoods and setting shit on fire. Those motherfuckers came into Harlem. Do you know what happened? They got as far as Washington Heights, and the police weren't doing anything, and they were starting to try and burn local businesses. So all of the Dominican gangs got assault
I was going to say,
rifles.
Latins and mixed race folk don't put
Yeah,
up
the fucking
with that.
if they made it halfway down, they would have had to kill people. But all because Antifa is always like, oh, you know, we're going to come to rural America. Those motherfuckers couldn't make it into Harlem. Okay, they got stuck in Washington Heights. They got through Inwood because Inwood's not armed, you know, except for the Italians. But then once you cross 200th Street, then you get into Dominican neighborhoods, and it's fucking different.
Look, even a Dominican mother with like potato masher
Only one assault rifle.
She doesn't need an assault rifle, just the contents of a kitchen drawer, and I'm taking that seriously.
No, but I'm telling you, these Antifa guys came like full force and they got shot at and they ran. That was it. But then the Antifa guys came into Queens and they fucking set the whole thing on, like, or sorry, the Bronx. They came in the South Bronx, not the Project Bronx because they would have gotten murdered. But they set all of these, like, you know, immigrant businesses on fire. And I'm like, okay, so let's get this straight. During BLM, we had a bunch of liberal protesters come in. And after Trump gets in, well, you didn't get your way. So you have liberal protesters destroying people's personal property and setting fucking dealerships on fire. Like, what does this prove? You're like, oh, down with fascism. I'm like, y'all are being pretty fucking fascist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're scared of gunshots,
oh god, the New Zealand internet froze again.
I think he's in Australia.
The whole thing.
Is he?
That's what makes it worse.
He didn't pay
you
his
thought I was in a
fee this month.
Get your story straight. I told you I'm here in my garage with my e-commerce success.
He sells rare koala skins to Christian Louboutin.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. Okay? Listen, the French are environmentally minded people and they would never ask me for endangered animals. These allegations, they're expensive, like alligators, which... just kidding, it's crocodiles out here.
Can't spell allegation without alligator.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah.
We're entering an interesting time. I mean, you know,
1-800
China's being put on notice. I gotta tell you the craziest thing. So there's an auction for this TikTok thing, right? The government's all right. You got to put up for a bid, and you're gonna look at these things. 11th hour entry. The fucking owner of OnlyFans put up a bid for TikTok. And you know, all these bids have to be $700 million plus.
So basically, it's like, I've got all of your 18 to 22-year-old girls. Let me purchase your 12-year-olds while I'm at it.
Yeah, I think the government's going to say no. Yeah. I mean,
sounds like TikTok, I was trying to say something.
TikTok's already a bastion of like illicit child pornography and skeevy dudes soliciting children for money. I mean, it's like what happens in the hood, you know, like the worst parts of it. But it's all fucking digital, yeah. and people are not paying attention.
It's fairly obvious why, right?
Oh, obvi.
Yeah.
Flesh sells.
The thing is, when we had different media platforms and different compliance, this level of pedophilia was actually reserved for middle class step parents, and unfortunately now it's.
God. Sorry. I was like, where are you going here? I'm gonna give this a second.
Sorry, no, it was a joke about the Western world's honorable attitude towards class mobility.
Man, I'm gotta tell you,
A
all these people getting
joke which
caught
has
with
been extended by OnlyFans for sure.
all these people getting caught with this child porn shit. I'm just like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, no, why? Like
They
that
need to
is
bring it back to,
objectively
like,
not worth.
hanging
That is
penalties for
objectively
that.
not. Yes, it is objectively not worth paying the prison fees. Like it's not.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I just need to see a cost-benefit analysis from someone, maybe a pro-lifer. Is that what they call themselves? Pro-lifers, the people that want to keep pedos alive. I don't know. I'm not a political guy, but if I could get a pro-lifer to show me a cost-benefit analysis on why it is we should be paying private prisons to keep pedophiles alive, then like I don't know. I'll probably segue the target back to China and talk about the youth in Asia right now. That was an entirely legal run-on sentence.
I see that. You know, you might get yourself caught up in Uyghur summer camp, though. You got to be careful, though.
Uyghur summer camp, you mean my basketball ones?
No, dude, they make them make iPhones now.
Oh,
I think that's Tim Cook's latest fetish.
I tried to field away from this.
He knows about this shit, and he was like lobbying. He was like,
Tristan's running.
I have
defense and
little
just gets
boys
sacked.
working for me. I'm Tim Cook.
Wow. Wow. I'm not going to have children, but I'll have all of theirs.
Oh my god.
That's gonna end up on Instagram.
That'll end up on Instagram. Tim Apple, folks. Tim Apple.
He's keeping jobs alive for the children.
I didn't know the A17 processor was an age limit.
It's
Only
devastating.
in
They've only
OECD
just released
countries.
the M4.
Oh my god. Back to Uyghur concentration camps.
Yeah. We need to tone this down.
We need a
Get back
lighter
to Uyghur
topic.
concentration camps. This went
I
too
mean, it's
far. Let's
just-
go back.
But, you know, Ramadan's just over, and I'm like, someone needs to tell Xi Jinping to, like, you know, like, you want to join the world? Okay, leave the religious people alone. You can't stamp people out, replace their husbands, force feed them pork, eat pork. Fucking that stuff tastes like shit. Huh?
Do you know that Mao Zedong was the best swimmer in human history?
He's the slimmest. What?
No, Mao Zedong was the best swimmer in human history. Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm waiting for the punchline here.
No, wait, you didn't know the story? Anyone who doesn't
No.
know the story, when Mao Zedong was getting older and the concern amongst the Chinese public was that he's too old, he maybe not be old enough to stick it to the world anymore. They just stated that he'd broken the record for the fastest swim of the Yangtze River. And the time that they posted suggested this guy was like swimming as fast as like Olympic sprinters run for like miles or some shit. Like it was like Kim Jong-un takes 18 swings on every golf course level of shit. Yeah, no, what's his son gonna have to do? Like 17 swings?
I don't know, dude. I also know that they keep trying to shove C-pop on us because, like, okay, J-pop was a thing and K-pop's everywhere, you know. But like C-pop, you know, just like I don't know, dude. Like Xi ping ping ping, you know, it's just not. It doesn't really like resonate with.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I can't think of anything that kids would want to view more than the least
Chinese
funded,
pop.
the least funded music video on the planet.
I'm like, why is half of this music video selling stuff?
No, well, look, they put the music in MP4 format, so it's technically a music video fuck off.
It's a music video and it's QVC at the same time. It's TikTok. No, it's WeChat.
Look, TikTok did nothing wrong.
Well, it's interesting because
I for one, in the words of Sam Hyde, they're sexualizing young girls to a point where even I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Are you a member of the Chinese Communist Party? Sir, I'm from Singapore.
Yeah, another question from Sam Hyde is how are we, the innovators, going to provide clean drinking water to 2 billion Chinese?
I mean, especially when they keep nuking their rivers.
The actual answer to that. No.
They just keep nuking their rivers. I'm like, you gotta stop pretending this is Ohio in 1940.
That's Mao Zedong swimming. That's Mao Zedong breaking the sound barrier. He's only gotten faster with time.
Oh. That was horrible. I would rate that 2 out of 10. Like that joke I made on Tim Heidegger's Instagram, and everyone like didn't realize it was a double poop joke.
Stop it.
Like how can some of these people be so smug online, so like personally after your ideas, and so tone deaf to humor?
Look, there's nothing funny about China.
Especially now that they have a 38% tariff and everything.
Whenever I hear Mao Zedong, I'm reminded of that video from like 15 years ago of the animated cows that do the uprising, and then they're like revolutionary bovine, and then
they're more like revolutionary burgers.
One of them's named Cow Satan.
Well, that reminded me of when my math teacher told me his cat's name was Chairman Meow.
Chairman Meow.
Chairman Meow. I remember Chairman Meow. He was a strong cat.
Cows with guns. Yeah. Oh no, this is a song from 1996. It's even older than I thought it was.
No.
Looking for cows with red books.
That was near Founding Day in Australia, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. It was this was actually the catalyst. This song came out and we were like, okay, time to become a real country.
It depends on whether you put it on fabric and then put that fabric on a pole, or whether you carve it into a rock. I'm not sure which one of them constitutes as a contract, but apparently not the one done by a brown person.
No. Look, China's in red.
The fuck are we now? Liz, what could China have possibly done to deserve this?
Be our most favored trading partner for 40 years, come here and throw all sorts of galas and things and be like, you need to love China. West bunch of poo-poo heads. Literally, this is like, there's just like long-winded Harvard-educated people talking about extolling the virtues of China and the better way of life, the Eastern man. But they're so smug about it. It's so weird.
The virtues of which
lived in China. I went
Bruce
to Harvard.
Lee hasn't been around for a while. I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee was the last Chinese man to have virtue.
Well, I mean, unless you bring up the movie The Crow.
That was his son, okay?
Yeah.
This is the Hunter Biden of martial arts we're talking about. I'm fucking kidding.
Oh my god.
I'm fucking kidding. No, Hunter Biden.
Well, then what is Hunter Biden the Hunter Biden of? Excrement paintings. It's really weird because, like, if any conservative dude had ever done that, people would be like, "Oh, he's making paintings out of his poop, so gross," and like the left is like, "It's fine, it's fine. He needs to earn a living. Let him paint his poop."
But yeah, they're like, oh, this is clearly socioeconomic. Wait, who's his dad? Shut up. What?
No, and that's finally coming out too. That like he was auto penned, and then Hunter Biden was running kind of like half of his decisions.
Listen, if more public
Dude.
money was funding him to have clean crack pipes, wait, hang on, shit.
Are you telling
sorry.
me that it was the additives in the crack that really that's what brought him down?
Yeah, inorganic.
Yes. As per DEA studies, in 2003, 5% of cocaine was found to have levamisole in it. In 2006, 80% had it. Levamisole is a close cousin to ivermectin, so this is clearly Trump's fault.
See where you're going?
Yeah.
We're not going to blame the war on drugs. Nope, just Trump. Everything comes back to Trump. I bet you that someone could figure out how their bunion was caused by Trump.
Who won the war on drugs?
Girls.
Girls won the war on drugs, Tristan. Girls and lady boys.
Yeah. When I'm done transitioning from male to alpha male, I might try lady boy. It seems more lucrative.
I thought ladyboy was a necessary intermediary step from male to alpha male, or have I been misled?
Only in
no,
TikTok
Lockie,
and
you were
Instagram
misled.
videos.
Stop
where...
going to that fucking public toilet.
Fuck.
There's...
Damn it! I knew
keep
this.
Keep the beard on. Don't put the wig on, and stay away from Caulfield Park toilets at night.
Why does this keep happening to me?
You know what? There's parks like that in New York. Central
funny,
Park used to be like that until they cleaned it up. Like in the 90s, you go through Central Park at night, there'd be like two dudes humping behind a tree. And I'm like, that's really bad camouflage. You should at least have two trees.
Ideally, if you can find it, two dudes humping.
Is that how they came up with the Doubletree Hotel?
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Yeah,
is that how they came up with the Doubletree Hotel?
It was really to allow two dudes to hump in the safety behind the two trees.
This was where some suspect the slippery slope began. This is where some suspect it began.
Paris Hilton's like, yeah. Daddy, sell the Doubletree.
Oh. I had a point to make like 3 internal blanks ago.
There's a Doubletree.
Okay,
in Melbourne.
if Xi Jinping was a pop star in China,
no,
using the reference in America, do you think Xi Jinping would be more like Taylor Swift or Sabrina?
Who do you think would win in a
Madonna?
fight? Xi Jinping or Taylor Swift? We know Madonna would win in a fight against Xi Jinping.
Well, that's just because she drinks demon blood, but that's fine. It's her thing.
Okay, no, you're right. She's on PEDs. Current day Xi Jinping versus 2003 Paris Hilton in rehab.
2003 Paris Hilton before rehab could have beat like kind of.
No, I'm not saying before rehab. We're leaving PEDs out of the question.
She's got to be clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what are they fighting with? Are they fighting just hand to hand, or are we giving them weapons?
Spirits of their family.
So they're raw dogging it.
The honor of their family.
So Xi Jinping and Paris Hilton.
So Paris's first move.
Paris Hilton's not on cocaine.
So her first move would be to drop the essence of a hotel on top of Xi Jinping.
And then call Lindsay Lohan to be on cocaine.
His first move would be to put Paris inside of a summer camp.
I think I got to back up my boy.
That's how the iPhone was invented.
That's how the iPhone was invented. Steve Jobs ate enough acid that he looked at a small screen and said, "You could call the world."
And then he called a buddy in India, and the rest was history.
You know what's really funny? I was working for Trans World Entertainment, and there was a CFO, the CEO,
Trans what?
me. It was like all the music. It was transsexual, and no, it was all the music companies in the U.S. It was like FYE, Waxy Maxi, Specs, The Wall, Camelot, Coconuts, Record Town, Saturday Matinee. We bought Tower Music,
This
right?
is not a company that sells transmissions for cars.
No, they sell music.
Right.
And we were there, and Steve Jobs was on the phone with fucking Bob Higgins, and he was like, "Okay, well, FYE could have the music store," and Bob didn't understand how he was going to make money from singles, so he said no, and he told Steve Jobs to go fuck himself. And the funnier part was because the store is called FYE. We just spent an inordinate amount of money buying FYE from the Five family of Australia because they had FYE.com.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Have you heard of Hungry Jack's, Oz?
I have heard. It's like your version of Burger King.
Yes. No. Sorry, what you just said was a crime. Our version of Burger King was a stubborn immigrant in Melbourne. That's why we have Hungry Jack's.
Tell us about Hungry Jack's, and can I get one of your halal snack packs there?
No.
We don't
I don't
have
think
such
there's anything
chains.
religious about what Hungry Jack's does. Maybe in the finance section you'll find someone, but we're not going to talk about that. There's an incredible story of a guy who I think his storefront said the Burger King or something like that, and he's like, "No, you can't Burger King here. I'm the Burger King." And they're like, "What's this guy worth? Fuck, like, yeah, offer him a few million." And then he's just like, "No, I'm the Burger King." And the story is just like a repeated variation of that. And the guy just basically forced Burger King to come up with a whole new name in Australia.
So it's Hungry Jack's.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I think
that's hysterical.
There's possibly some relation between the companies, but they're certainly not Burger King.
Well,
that's hysterical.
The funny thing is about that the original Burger King relinquished his throne decades ago, and Hungry Jack's just never changed from Hungry Jack's to Burger King.
Who was the Burger? Oh wait, that guy actually gave it up, and now it's just stayed at Hungry Jack's.
Yeah, I think he just wrapped his business up like
McDonald's is even called McDonald's in Australia.
Why is Jack hungry if he lives in a fast food place?
Well, because he's just their mascot. He's always hungry. He's always going to live in a trope because he's not real.
Oh, we keep him hungry and throw the burgers over his head.
He's not real, like supply side economics.
Economics aren't real, Oz. How do you explain seed oils?
I'm going to be like AOC. Why can't we just print more money? God, just fix that.
Actually, Australia does a few weird things like that. You know, we have Kmart and Target in Australia, and the branding and logos and stuff and kind of what's sold in those stores is almost identical to...
Well, you still have Kmart. The last Kmart closed.
Okay. Well, Target, but you have Target, right? And then you've got
we do have Target. We prefer to call it Target. So we can sound very, very fancy.
Yeah, it got bougie after Walmart took over. They added a whole 20 cents to the price of everything.
You know, there's no relationship whatsoever between Target Australia and Target US.
Really?
Yeah, they're not related at all. I think Australia just kind of saw the opportunity to use the branding.
To steal another trademark.
Yeah. But I thought that they were like the same company. Like certainly Target, maybe Kmart. But
you mean like when Tristan originally had trademarked Island Boys?
Similar to that, but like also, you know, you can still purchase my Island Boy singles at Target King. In terms of amazing names in Australia, we did this thing where a company that just so happened to supply the beef for McDonald's burger patties named themselves 100% Australian beef. And so on all of McDonald's Australia's packaging, it said 100% Australian beef. It had that, and it turned out that writing was just a logo. And I didn't look further than that because I trust corporations.
There is a
Well, the beef part is
story.
100% Australian beef, but the rest of it's soy, and there's some tempeh in there.
Glue.
Glue. What? Why is? How'd you get horse sausage? No, it's horse glue.
It's made from horse, so it counts. Oz, have you heard the story of one of our former prime ministers, Harold Holt?
Vaguely,
So
I know the name.
Harold Holt was a prime minister in Australia, and he died in 1967. He was the 17th prime minister, and he died at Cheviot Beach. He drowned in December 17th, 1967, and so that was like tragedy at the time.
Named a swimming pool after him.
Yeah. So in honor of him,
He drowned. In honor of him, we're going to name a swimming pool.
Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Centre is a public swimming pool in Glen Iris.
You guys just fuck with everything. It's so great.
Yeah, we really did that. We actually did that.
It's like the humor of the 90s is perpetually in Australia.
No, this I think I'm pretty certain this opened like not long after.
But that humor was apparently there a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they named it this 2 years after he died in 1969.
That's hysterical.
On the subject,
is it still a popular tourist destination?
On the subject of Australian prime ministers, you know Bob Hawke?
No.
Obviously you don't.
No.
Bob Hawke holds, I believe, the world record for the speed of drinking a yard.
Okay,
beer.
that guy I've heard of, and I've seen pictures of this.
Yes. Yeah, that my grandmother beat him out for ducks of their school, but my grandmother evidently should have learned how to drink a fucking yardie faster.
Granny,
you were focused on
slow
the wrong
drinking
race.
grandma.
Yeah, no, she didn't understand what Australia's priorities were. Clearly,
After she lost that one, they just called her the sipper for the rest of her life.
yeah, you can sit and sip. We're taking Bob Hawke.
Well, you could take Bob Hawke to Beer Fest.
I think that's
that movie didn't make it over there. That was
tenure. There's an interesting guy who's likely to come in as our next prime minister. Everyone in Australia hates him, which naturally makes me want him to win.
Is he liberal, which means conservative there, or is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, his name's Peter Dutton, and I keep trying to explain to Australians that I want him to win, not because I give a fuck about Australia, but because I give a fuck about the whole world. And it's funny as fuck.
Like some of your policies have gotten really Britain about like free speech and things.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. Like Dutton, seems to be getting a pair of Hugo Boss leather boots on about at least something that he should, which is Australia's like military and infosec, as opposed to people's opinions, which is like, I mean, I get it. He's probably going to take a flaming dump on our environment, but we seem to applaud the Aboriginals when they do that. So don't really care about people's opinion there. They
Just as
don't
long as it's
care
not
about.
where you plant taro root.
No, no, I would not. I would not plant taro root in this godforsaken land, to begin with. No, that's not how you do it. You look at Samoans as Exhibit A, and you look at Aboriginals as Exhibit B, and ask yourself which one's making the gains. It's that simple. Australia, for the gains, eat the kangaroo. Eat the kangaroo. Hell yeah, to the kangaroo. But in general, like Australia's foliage sucks for gains.
Yeah.
It is not what the rest of the Pacific Islands are. The rest of the Pacific Islands are amazing for root vegetables. We, by we, I mean literally my tribe. Obviously I was there. Took wooden canoes across to South America and were the ones to actually give them their sweet potatoes, which is nuts. Because all they gave us back was cocaine. And
Unreal deal.
Very popular in Sydney these days, I hear, and Melbourne.
Look, it's very easy to sell something that people have never seen before. It's like, here, have this. It looks like it from the TV shows. That'll be $1 bajillion, which is kind of how Australia invests in everything.
Well, back then, you have to remember it was as seen on boat.
So was my grandmother.
So was my grandmother.
Oh, your parents.
This just in, Lockie the fob.
What?
This just in, Lockie's family are fobs.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We've got an amazing term over here.
It's like, oh God, he's from Ireland. Fob.
No. Fob over here means fresh off boat.
Fob over here means fresh off boat.
Oh, well, wouldn't that make it a Mexican slur? That wasn't even me trolling.
No, it usually refers to like brown extract people who come here and become like ABCD, American born confused Daisy, or ABC, American born Chinese, or ABK, American born Korean, or I can go on.
True. So it refers to Asians over there. Over here, once upon a time, I believe it referred to Greeks, Italians, and just Mediterraneans, and then somehow fob came to refer to Pacific Islanders.
But the thing is,
I wouldn't exactly call them boats.
No, I would. It's more like long canoe with little floaty things on the side.
Hollowed log.
We have hollowed this log, and we will conquer the sea with it.
They used to make men out of scurvy and boats out of colonialism, and now we make men out of taro and domestic violence out of alcohol.
Yes, yes, that's what we call square trade, because it just doesn't move again. It's no triangle. Here you go. When will you be back? Not sure.
Is that
enjoy your sweet potato?
Is that where the word box plot comes from?
No, that's the brand. That's where the brand Box Fresh comes from.
Ah. No, this lower quartile, upper quartile shit.
Wow. Wow.
So King Charles is meeting Trump.
We just brought racism forwards 100 years, guys. Are we proud?
Like in a good
We're
way or
very
a bad
proud.
way?
Hey, at least my people didn't get made fun of tonight.
Yeah. No, they got tariffed.
They got tariffed. All of my people, the Arab part, the Indian Mughal part, and the Moor part, all got tariffed.
So are different countries being taxed at different? I know that we've said Australia is.
Oh yeah,
the
dude.
tariff rate.
There's a.
What is the distribution?
There's a whole
Australia gets a little
card,
and Australia gets a little bro pass now.
Australia only taxed us 10%, so it's okay. 10% for you. What is with
Is it possible
these
that
Nothing.
China will start to, like with some of their manufacturing being like heavily
No, Lockie, they
tariffed?
will not start growing. They would have by now.
Is it,
I've
Are you
worried
talking?
about.
Is he
I've worried
talking about
about.
his
I'm
sea
worried about.
monkeys again?
yeah, well, so
I'm
imagine you
worried
have
about.
some sea monkeys.
Hmm.
No, they can't. Well,
That is a very very rude way to refer to the Chinese Navy.
that's
That is what you're doing right
that's
now.
no.
Huh,
That's
that's
not
a
what
very
I'm saying.
rude way to bring your trawler ships and take all my fish and leave us with "Don't cry for me, Argentina."
Um, so if you like, are they going to do things like um, establish businesses in countries that have
No,
lower tariff rates?
We want everyone to come and build your businesses here. Bring all the manufacturing back. Bring it all back. It's all coming back. You know why? Because it's too expensive to produce over there. So I think what's going to happen is they'll do all. Actually, they'll do most of the raw materials overseas. But see, here's the thing: steel's getting hit with a
is it
25% tariff.
is it viable for Australia to deliver raw materials necessary for like the current growth that we're seeing in steel
Well, you
refinery
can
in the
start
US?
sending us coal and iron ore. I mean, maybe not coal. We're not doing those engines anymore, but we're not doing coal furnaces. They're all electric furnaces. But
I came across a guy who was part of a company that developed a solution for that horrid stuff that comes out of iron mines sometimes. The one that caused
nickel,
the
iron mines
massive
are going to
it
push
caused a massive.
iron,
There's
nickel,
a
copper, and then
I'm
there's,
I'm
I mean,
embarrassed. No, 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 I'm
there's different
embarrassed that
types of iron.
this thing's slipping my tongue. No, it's the biggest lawsuit in human history that's occurring in Brazil because of the sludge that came out of
Hmm.
the iron mines. Um, yeah, these guys have some sort of
Runoff,
solution.
runoff.
But there's a specific name for the type that comes from like a lot of iron mines. But anyway,
Let's
that
find
my
out.
thought was,
I will use the
yeah,
magical internet.
hey internet, what's that fucking sludge called that killed all the Brazilians?
Tailings.
No, it was the
Tailings.
soccer industry.
Yeah, mine slurry and
Oh
red
yeah,
mud.
yeah,
Or if it has
yeah.
fine
So
particles suspended in water, it's called slimes. But yeah, tailings and
yeah,
mine slurry. We just call it runoff.
yeah. So
That stuff's horrible.
is that an issue in specific countries, or is that an
It's an
issue
issue with a specific type of mining.
for iron mining?
If you strip mine, you're going to ruin the environment and you're going to get a lot of fucking runoff every time it rains. I mean, because it's just like
Yeah,
a wound in the earth, you know? So whatever's left is going to run off. And if your mines were cut into rock or like earth in an area where there's a low, like where there's a high water table, and it gets into the water table, um, so every time it like rains, the water table raises, it floods part of the mine, and that shit runs off. And especially if those mines were cut into the side of mountains instead of like down into the mountains, so that shit couldn't happen. Yeah, that happens
yeah.
quite a bit.
Interesting. Um, yeah,
My dad was in steel for 50 years. I mean, this was like stuff at home. We still have a lot of stuff. It's like designs for plants that he built and all this stuff.
let's try and figure something out with that. I met one of the better surveyors from Rio Tinto
Hmm.
last night, I believe it was. And yeah, um, it seems like a good time for Australia to be pushing metals over to the US.
Yeah, I mean, I could hook you guys up with someone in the trade. That's really what we need to figure out is how we bring it in
I
and
can
who it's
get it
going to.
financed if there's anyone that can provide an SBLC with their demand. I can get it financed and surveyed this side of the world.
Let me think about that.
Awesome.
Let me
I
think
would
about.
straight up love to show people on the podcast how giving a shit about these things and even actually just joking about them occasionally you do spot money, because I mean people are supposed.
And we lost him.
Oh no. Well, kind of one where we've had a conversation about the world's problems and then actually found something of a solution. Um, which
I don't
is
know how much of a solution we found here, but this one was
something.
definitely fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, probably a good place to leave it, I think.
I think it is. I think it is. Listen, the whole world is about to change. America's dynamics are about to change. The nature of first world capitalism is about to change, and we're actually going back to an older era, right? The process by which we're collecting money will change, and I wonder what's going to happen with other countries.
Hmm.
But I really wonder what's going to happen with Europe, because Europe doesn't produce like they used to, and they're rearming. We're allowing them. And you saw Mercedes like, I will build tanks, and Hugo Boss is like, I will build uniforms. So it's going to be an interesting time. I'll tell you that much. But what I will say is that provided that the Abraham Accords and the negotiations in Ukraine can achieve some fruit, we may be looking at Pax Americana within the next couple of years. And you know what's really funny to me? Every dystopian story in the world is always about like some European taking over, some Chinese thing taking over. No one thought, well, what if all their economies fail and it goes the opposite way and we just build peace,
Hmm.
right? Because at some point, at least from my religious purview, right, being Muslim, like it says Lord of the Worlds in the damn book when it opens. So, and we understand that there's at least a couple other planets out there that are habitable. Maybe the age of Aquarius that we're in is the dawning of people finally getting along. But we are going through a huge tumult that reflects 100 years ago, where you had similar gender issues and similar technocrats and similar everything. Um, it's going to be a wild ride the rest of the 2020s.
Yeah,
Fun.
for sure.
Fun.
Any
At some point
final?
I might even get Wi-Fi during it.
No, we
Hopefully at some
decided to
point.
wrap up.
Yeah,
Any final thoughts, Tristan?
definitely not.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for your time today, guys, and thanks for watching.
All right.
Likewise.
So, you guys,
Likewise. Awesome as always.
goodbye, Internet.
All right. See you
Yeah.
guys.